Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to start our second chapter of political science of part A, and our chapter name is The End of Bipolarity. And our topic is Soviet system. We are going to discuss what is Soviet system. So, with the help of these points, we will discuss the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. It is also known as USSR at that time. It came into being after the Socialist Revolution in Russia in 1970. The revolution was inspired by the ideals of socialism and the need for an means egalitarian society as opposed to the capitalism. So after the Second World War, as you know, it was started in 1939 and it was ended in 1945. So the East European countries that the Soviet army had liberated from the fascist forces and came under the control of USSR at that time. And there was change in the economic and political system of the USSR. And then the Soviet economy became more developed than the rest of the world except USA. However, the Soviet system became very bureaucratic and authoritarian, and it made life very difficult for its citizens. And the weapons race and the Soviet Union managed to match the US from time to time, but at a great cost. So it was known as Soviet system. Now, our second topic is Mikhail Gorbachev and the disintegration of the USSR. We are going to discuss. So here we will discuss the reforms of Gorbachev. Now, Mikhail Gorbachev, who had become General Secretary of the Communist Party of Soviet Union in 1985, ensured to reform this system. He introduced economic and political reforms, policies, means it is known as perestroika. Perestroika means restructuring, and the glasnost means openness. So these two reforms he want to implement at that time, but later his policies were criticized. A coup took place in 1991 that it was increased by the Communist Party or means hardliners. The people did not want the old style rule of the Communist Party, and they wanted freedom means from the means Communist Party. And now Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, the three major republics of USSR declared in December 1991 that the Soviet Union was disintegrating. So Soviet Union was disintegrated in 1991, and means capitalism, or you can say capitalism, and democracy were adopted as the basis of the post-Soviet republics. So means these are the reforms done by the Mikhail Gorbachev, but these reforms were not accepted by the citizens or the means leaders of the USSR. Now, our third point is reasons for the Soviet Union and the disintegration. We are going to discuss. There are several reasons which led to the collapse of the Soviet Union, and these were as first is internal weakness of the Soviet political and economic institutions failed to meet the aspirations of the people, and economic of the Soviet Union become stagnant. The Soviet economy used much of its resources in the maintaining a nuclear and the military arsenal. Now, the Soviet Union too become stagnant due to the means rampant corruption. Now, unwillingness to allow more openness in the government and the centralization of authority in a vast land. Now, a section of the society was not happy with the reforms of the Gorbachev. Already we have discussed. So, it was believed that the reforms introduced by the Gorbachev were at very slow pace. Another reason for the collapse of the USSR was the rise of nationalism and the desire of sovereignty within various republics, including Russia and the means Baltic republics. Now the our next point is consequences of the disintegration. We are going to discuss what type of consequences was there. There were many consequences of the disintegration of USSR. They are as follows. First is it led to the end of the Cold War. Means Cold War it was ended after the 1991. After 1991, Cold War was ended. So there was no dispute of socialist ideology and capitalist ideology. Now the power relation in the world politics changed, and thus it led to change in the relative influence of ideas and the institutions. And US become the sole superpower, which also backed the capitalist economy, making it a means a dominant economic system of internationally. Now, the end of the Soviet bloc paved the way of emergence of many new countries, and all these countries had their own independency, or means they are now independent aspirations and choices. And the international system saw many new players emerge, each with its own identity, interest, and economic and political difficulties. So these are the consequences of the disintegration of the Soviet system. Now our topic is shock therapy in the post-communist regimes. We are going to discuss. Now, what is shock therapy? The model of transition in Russia and Central Asia and East Europe from an authoritarian socialist system to a democratic capitalist system, which was influenced by the World Bank and the IMF. It came to be known as the shock therapy. And the process of transition was due to the collapse of communism, and there was a need to make a total shift to a capitalist economy, which meant rooting out completely and structures evolved during the Soviet period. Now, the shock therapy also involved a drastic change in external orientation of these economies, and it also involved means a breakup of the existing trade alliances among the countries of the Soviet bloc. Now, the consequent now our second topic is consequences of the shock therapy. We are going to discuss. Now, shock therapy brought ruin to the economies and disaster upon the people of the entire region. And the value of Russian currency, ruble, declined dramatically. And people lost their all savings due to the high rate of inflation. And government withdrew subsidies, which pushed a large section of the people into poverty. The middle classes were pushed to the periphery of society, and the construction of democratic institutions was not given the same attention and priority as the demands of the economic transformation. Now, most of these economies, especially in Russia, start reviving in 2000, 10 years after the independence. And the reason for revival was the means export of natural resources like oil, natural gas, and the minerals. So it was known as the consequences of the shock therapy. Now, our next point is tension and conflicts of former Soviet republics. Now we are going to discuss, and with the help of these points, it will be clear. There were tensions and conflict in most of the former Soviet republics, and many have had civil wars and means insurgencies there. In Russia, two republics, means one is known as Chechnya and one is known as the Tajikistan, have had violent secessionist movements there. Now, Tajikistan witnessed a civil war for almost 10 years till 2001, and this region had many sectarian conflicts, and violence was there at that time. In Central Asia, to become a zone of competition between the outside powers and oil companies. And Czechoslovakia was divided into two groups, means one is known as Czechs and another is known as Slovak, thus forming of independent countries. Now Yugoslavia means broke apart with several provinces like Slovenia and Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina declaring independence. Now, our Next topic is India and the post-communist countries. Now we are going to discuss. India maintained a friendly relation with all the post-communist countries. The strongest relation of India is still with Russia. Now, Indo-Russia relation is an important aspect of India's foreign policy because both the countries share a vision of a multipolar world order. Now, India got benefits from Russia over issues like Kashmir and energy supplies, access to Central Asia, balancing its relation with China, and Russia stand to benefit from uh, means this relationship because India is the second largest means arms market for Russia. Both the country have collaborated over many scientific projects also. So it was our topic and it is completed. Hope it is clear to all. Thank you so much.